Hello everybody. Today in this video I'd like to address the issue of whether Jesus was crucified on the daytime before the Passover meal or the daytime after the Passover meal. Before I continue, I'd like to mention something about the fundamentals of the laws of thought or the laws of logic. And there are three pillars, three fundamentals of the laws of logic, one of which is that nothing can both be and not be. In other words, two or more contradictory statements cannot both be true in the same sense at the same time. And a thing cannot at the same time both be and not be. And so, the Bible itself claims that it's inerrant and infallible or infallible. Some people say infallible, some people say infallible. The word infallible means incapable of error. If something is infallible, it is never wrong and thus absolutely trustworthy. And similarly, the word inerrant, also applied to Scripture, means free from error. Simply put, the Bible claims, and Christians believe and claim, that the Bible never fails. Not only that Christians claim that the Bible is inerrant and infallible, but they claim that infallible means that there can be no errors, whereas inerrant means there are no errors. In other words, infallible is even a stronger term than inerrant in the sense that it means that there can be no errors in the Bible. And so I'll start with a verse from the Bible that's in 1 Corinthians 14:33. It says that for God is not the author of confusion. I repeat, for God is not the author of confusion. And so, on the question of whether Jesus was crucified on the daytime before the Passover meal or the daytime after, the Bible answers with a clear after and a clear before. Now, the after answer is contained in Mark 14:12-17. And I'll quote, "On the first day of the festival of the unleavened bread, when it was customary to sacrifice the Passover lamb, Jesus' disciples asked him, 'Where do you want us to go and make preparations for you to eat the Passover?' So he sent two of his disciples, telling them, 'Go into the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. Say to the owner of the house,' etc., etc. The disciples left, went into the city, and found things just as Jesus had told them, so they prepared the Passover. When the evening came, Jesus arrived with the 12. While they were reclining at the table eating the Passover meat, he said, 'Truly I tell you,' etc., etc." So here we see that Jesus first eats the Passover meat, and whatever happens to him after that happens to him after they eat the Passover meat. Whereas in, for example, the Gospel of John, we're advised and assured by the Bible that it was before, that Jesus was crucified before the Passover meal. Before the feast of Passover, Judas went out at night. John 13:30. The other disciples thought he was going out to buy supplies to prepare for the Passover meal. And that's John 13:29. And when Jesus was arrested, the Jews did not enter Pilate's judgment hall because they wanted to stay clean to eat the Passover. And that's John 18:28. And when the judgment was pronounced against Jesus, it was about the 6th hour on the day of the preparation for the Passover. And that's John 19:14. Again, I will repeat. When the judgment was pronounced against Jesus, it was about the 6th hour on the day of the preparation for the Passover meal. So, as you can see, maybe you're confused. I don't know. Maybe you're not confused. Like I mentioned in the beginning, one of the laws of logic or the laws of thought states that nothing can both be and not be at the same time. And as you can see here, the Bible states that Jesus was crucified both after the daytime after the Passover meal and before, in the day before the Passover meal. And as the Bible states and claims and asserts that God is not the author of confusion, then you can judge for yourself whether and who is the author of confusion. If you're confused, and if you're not confused, then you should probably start thinking whether your reasoning capacities maybe are flawed. I don't know. I just gave you some food for thought, and let me know down in the comment section what you think about it. Thank you very much for listening and for watching. Until the next time, bye.